uh, go ahead and get started. So, hi everyone, we're space reviewers, and I'm Lilian. And do you guys want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Sage.
I'm Raffaella.
And yeah, the point of space reviewers is to show you that when we do a PR review, we all come from different level of experiences, but we can all contribute something. So yeah, it doesn't really matter our level of experience. We all have something, some kind of insight, some kind of viewpoint. So how is this going to work? We're going to pick a PR. We've already picked it out, and I'll share the link with you soon. And then we'll dive into it and walk through it, and yeah, share our review. So we wanted to do this to show you that everyone could do a review, and we'll show you our thought process and how we step through it. And also be respectful. We follow the Djangonaut space code of conduct. Okay. So we have the link to the PR. We have the link to the show notes here. So you can follow that along. And yeah. And I'll go to the notes here. So here are the notes. And Raffaella, would you like to give a summary of the ticket since you wrote the notes?
Yes. Okay. This ticket is was open because when you have some settings inside the header of your proxy, for example, Nginx, is going to not to be see the port the host if you have sorry, if you have the host inside your header, it's not going to evaluate the port, so it's going to be not aware of the port, and this is the problem they have going to solve it. There's at least one one try with the first PR that was made by the sorry, DGCGH. And then there were lots of different approaches. Also, the last one was not the last one, the previous one was made by Apollo, considering another approach for the host, for the header. Is that completely enough?
Yeah, that's good. Sage, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. Well, not really. So this was the previous PR, and I think there was no activity for some period of time, so someone else picked it up. And but yeah, I'm just curious how we are going to review or test this, whether we are going to set up a Django project with an Nginx setup, or because it's quite. I don't think it can be tested um like just with a plain Django run server. So yeah, I'm not sure what the plan is, but it'll be interesting to see.
Okay, all right. Um, I let's see. Let's go ahead and pull down the code. So I already have it pulled down. So I'm on that PR right now, and so I think I guess let's look at the most recent PR first and see what files were changed, and then let's compare it to the one that Apollo did, and then we could kind of go from there. Um, So for here, I think we could see like most of the files, they're the tests. And if we just like skim through it, we see they're making small changes. This one looks like it's like making adjustments to the test that just to make those tests work. And similar for here, I think these were changes. So it was adding in the allowed host. Since maybe I should actually start from this comment that was made. This one is actually, I'll say this is a kind of a hard one to follow because there were a lot of PRs. But you just kind of step through it one by one. And I think okay, let me back up a bit more. So let's start with the first PR. I believe that's this one. So yeah, that's the first PR right here. So let's go here and then just skim through the comments. I wanted to go down to the one where they were talking about, okay, so this is a comment that was talking about the logic for how these variables should be used and the precedence. So like Raffaella mentioned, when you're using the use x forwarded host variable and when it's set to true, then you want to make sure that use x forwarded. Okay, you want to make sure that when you have use x forwarded host is true and use x forwarded port is false, then the settings in the Nginx server should include the server port. And then if you have the case where use x forwarded host is true and use x forwarded port is true, then it doesn't need to let's see. Oh, why is this?
Yeah, I think so in Nginx you can set the header when you set up the proxy from like the front facing server to Django, and um, you can retain the information of the host and port by setting these headers, and Django supports these headers by those settings like use x forwarded host and x forwarded port. So when you only set the x forwarded host to be true, but the forwarded port is not used, then I guess this is the case where people just use that one header and combine both the host and the port in that header directly. But there are other cases where people instead split the host and port into separate headers, so x forwarded host and x forwarded port. So the expected Nginx configuration when you have both settings in Django set to true is that you also set the headers separately. The host use its own header, and the port is also with its own header. But yeah, there might be cases of misconfiguration where people set both Django settings to true, but they use the first example of Nginx configuration where they concatenate the host and port into a single X forwarded host header. In which case, because if Django does not handle that, it might end up appending the port twice. Um, right. So we want. So in this case, Marius is suggesting that Django should raise an exception if that's the case. Like if it encounters a port in the header forwarded host, um, but the X forwarded port setting is set to true. I think that's my understanding. I'm not sure if I if I get that right.
That helps a lot. That makes it clear for me at least. Yeah, and then he gave links to the these variables in Django. So those are in the documentation, and it explains how they should be used and the precedents in there as well. And then there's more. And then there is mention of like updating the documentation to reflect the changes for these variables and the logic here.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. I'll go ahead and jump back. I wanted to make sure that we captured that logic here, and then let's jump back to this PR here. So if we take a look at the changes here, so there's a change to the regular expression that's being used to parse the settings from the server. And that includes the port here. And then this is where the bulk of the logic is, parsing that server line. And here it's checking to make sure that that logic is implemented as it was described.
Lilian, could I ask you something?
Yeah.
On YouTube, there are people that ask if is there a cookie cutter quick way to set up engines and Django to try this out.
I don't know. Do you know, Sage?
Sorry, just wanted to make sure. So that YouTube comment is asking a question whether there is a cookie cutter template, or are they letting us know that there is a template that we can use?
No, it's a question.
It's a question. Okay. I'm not aware if there is such a template. I mean, there probably is because it's quite a common config, but I guess we could either try to look for a template that helps us test the changes, but I wonder if we could get away with just crafting the request with the appropriate headers and see what happens.
Yeah, I was gonna go with just doing it in the test too.
Yeah.
Especially since they've written the test here.
Yeah.
So should we go ahead and just run the test that they have?
I guess we could
Yes.
start with that.
All right. So I am on this PR, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 files of tests. One thing I want to point out is that this request test is, it looks like it's a brand new file, but it's actually not. There's a previous commit that removed the file because it was conflicting with the request module, the request library. And so they renamed it to request test. So a lot of this should be in here, and it makes it a little bit difficult to track what the changes are, but we'll see. All right, so I can run I'll start with that one, and then just to make sure that it at least pass. And then we'll go to request test. And then that one passed as well. And then I'll come back to the request. Oops, site test. that one passed. And then I saved the request folder last because it's not going to pass. Okay, so this is what I described earlier where it's conflicting. And so there was actually a change. So what I'm going to do is just rename this so that we can run it or to something different. And then we'll run it and then we'll see. So this actually failed. And the reason I believe is there's this test with a different encoding. So it uses encode Latin 1. And I'm actually not sure if this is allowed actually it's not allowed. And it was actually fixed in the other test. And I'll show you if you do a little bit of digging on track, you'll see there was a commit. I'm going to go back here to get. So this is raising an error. Charge that should be ignored for the application. And this is actually corresponding to this error right here. And so if we take a look here, and the changes that were happening in here, they were happening in the request file. It made some changes into there and also into the test. And we were, let's see. So we saw it was failing on test alternate post. I think that's a new, oh, okay. So that's right here. That's the old test. And then it was renamed and it was updated. Yeah, so that's one thing where this PR needs to be rebased. So I just wanted to clear that up. And so that's one thing. So if I go into there and I go ahead and remove this, I think we should be okay because we're not concerned about this. This is not related. It was already fixed in the other PR. And I'll run it again, and then there are a couple of more problems. I'm just trying to work through all the problems so that we can get to the tests that are important.
I think we could improve the fail output by so if you try to install a package called tblib, yes, that one. Yeah, because sometimes when we run the tests in parallel and there are exceptions.
Oops.
Hmm.
Let me see. I was.
Oh, you use UV.
Okay, and then.
Okay, nice.
All right. Okay, so that's the one that we saw earlier, and we know that it's been fixed in one of the commits, so we don't need to worry about it. And then this one, string object has no attribute read. It looks like, so it happens, the test exists in both of these. And
Yes.
it like,
Are those two files meant to be merged? They're like merged into a single one, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't sure how to go about this other than like trying to comment out the ones that
Yeah.
are working. So I'm gonna go ahead and comment that one out since we saw it was passing in the other one. And then this one. Okay, Okay, similar. This one looks like it's been rewritten. So I'll comment this one out as well. And then I guess it should all pass now. And so the tests that remain, not all of them are new, but I did do like I just went and manually looked inside of them to pull out which ones were not, which ones were new, and most of them started with this string here. So test get port with X forwarded host. That one was new. So maybe we can take a look and make sure that it's testing the new implementation. Yeah, if I'm going down the wrong path, just tell me to do something different.
I think that's sensible, but I guess just to make sure, we could take a look at the original PR from Florian, Apollo 13, just to see the tests in request the tests. Yeah, so it seems there are some new lines in.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's the test that was added. Yes, and then
Oh, that's the same
yeah,
one.
that's the same one, I think. Yeah,
There's that one.
and then there's also some changes to test get port, I think.
Yeah, so those are adding server names to them.
Hmm.
I'm going to separate it out. So there are tests that had minor changes and then tests with that were new. Added
Right.
test. And then, so I think this one was added. And I can get rid of it from here. And these were the ones with changes. And this one is just a change. Oh, it's the same one.
I think there might be. So do we also need to include the ones that just added the server name? I think there were a few.
I
Yes, to get port with
Yeah,
X forwarded port.
Oh, good one. I missed that one.
okay, good.
Got that one, and then this one. Okay, I think we got them all. And all right.
Nice.
So should we start with one of these and then run it and see, or how should I go about this?
Yeah, I think we could try. I mean, we have already run the whole test module, right? So, but if you mean like going through the lines, yeah, I think like the test code instead of just running the test, right? Okay, yeah, I think we can do that.
All right. So this one, test get port with exported host. Okay, it looks like it has the server name and the port
Mm-hmm.
in this variable. And so that should be supported, and it seems like it's checking if this is using the exported host header. Okay, and so they've set up the metadata, the meta variable to have these other values, and they're checking to make sure that this get port will return the correct port number.
Yeah, so the first part tests So I think like the server name and server port, that's like the standard meta request information. And then if the request includes the X forwarded host header, and then the setting is set to use that header, then Django should take that into account and use the port from the X forwarded host header instead, which in this case, um, that's the thing, because the actual server port that Django receives is 8080, but the header from X forwarded host uses 8000. And so we expect that if you use the X forwarded host setting, then that should be used instead. So that should be 8000. But if a request comes in and it doesn't have the X forwarded host, I suppose in this case, the expected behavior is for Django to use the default server port information instead of, I don't know, maybe failing if it doesn't find the X forwarded host. I mean, I think that sounds like a sensible test.
All right.
What do you think?
I have a question. Inside the ticket, I saw that the example port they used is 8443. Yes, over there. I don't, let me know if that's correct. It's not a default port because the usual default port is the 443. Is it correct?
Yeah, so
It is
like HTTPS port is usually 443,
okay.
and in this case, it's so Nginx is listening on some custom port. In this case, as an example, 8443. Because I think the issue
But
was um, yeah. So the issue is that so uh usually it's pretty normal to not include the port if the scheme is HTTPS and the port is 443 because that's the default port, or in the case of HTTP it's 80. Um, so yeah, the original ticket is talking about let's say you use HTTPS and the port is some custom port, not 443. In this case, 8443. And apparently Django just ignores it. So, um, yeah, that's the issue. Sorry, does that answer your question?
no, because I saw inside the Nginx settings that um, sometimes they suggest to use this type of port, but it's not actually the default port for HTTPS. Is that correct?
Yeah, because HTTPS, the default port for HTTPS is 443 without the 8 at the front. So I think with Nginx, um, I'm not entirely sure, because you can technically just run the server on any port you like, and I guess in this case, um, wait, are you saying that Nginx suggests using 8443 instead?
Yes,
Um,
I saw inside here. Yes, I posted in the chat. Oh yeah, over there. I
oh, okay.
maybe is. Do you think it's going to happen to have the H443 port as a default
Um,
port in the
let's see.
future? Maybe.
Oh, oh, yeah. I just realized. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't know that. Apparently, it's commonly used as an alternative port for HTTPS. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure how does web does the web browser automatically know if you just type the address, um, 1 second. I think I think it's probably just because 443 is the default port, and you might have some other application running at that port.
Okay.
So yeah,
So you have two application on
yeah,
HTTPS. So you have the okay,
you have
okay.
to run them on different ports, and like a common alternative port to 443 is 8443. But I don't think if you type HTTPS some server.com, for example, I don't think the browser will attempt to connect to 8443. It will always try to connect to 443, I think. So it's just um, some sort of, I'm not sure if you can call it convention. I guess it's just a common alternative port. But yeah, I honestly, um, I'm not 100% sure on this. So yeah.
Yeah, I find out just just when I was watching the ticket, so I became curious because I know that the default port was the 443, but I don't understand if maybe in the future it could be also H
Right.
443 and another default port. Who maybe I don't know, but now yes, it's the it's a custom port.
Hmm.
Thank you, Sage.
That's all right.
Good observation. All right. Let's see. So we were going to do that test. Are we going down the right path, like going down each one of those tests?
So I think the problem with the new PR is um, it wasn't rebased in a way that was correct. I mean, because we still see the requests tests um, file in the requests directory when it should have been moved. So if we go to the new PR, um, ideally we should only see the requests underscore tests directory instead of both of them. So yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, so I guess that's one of the main points in the that we can point out in the review comments. Like, could you um, rebase maybe uh, every rebase? Well, yeah, it's we just need to at least point out that this file has moved, so we shouldn't have this file in the PR.
Okay, so that's one thing. And oh, and then another thing I want to point out is they haven't added any documentation,
Right.
and so we'd like to see documentation. Add documentation.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to specify which files they should be updating?
If we want to be extra helpful, I guess that would be nice.
It would be, I think it would just be these, this request response.
Yeah, so I think that, and maybe also the settings documentation for the use X forwarded port and Yeah, this one.
Okay. Do I need to find, okay, so that one, docs. Add documentations for settings .txt and I forget, request response. Okay, yeah, .txt. And then did we find out? So I commented this out, and was that a test that they added? So, okay, so for this one, I was wondering what, when I ran it, it failed on my end.
I think it might be because this is the old test before it was changed in the PR that disallowed this encoding for uh, form and URL encoded thing. And the reason why we are seeing this as an added file is because the rebase was done incorrectly. So we are seeing this as an addition, even though this test isn't related to the PR at all. So yeah, I
Okay,
think yeah.
I'll just add a note, make sure to remove, or is the rebase just enough?
Um, it it
So,
depends how they do the rebase. I think because um yeah, they have already rebased at the point where the PR um, moved the test. So as you can see in the PR, if we go to the new requests underscore tests py file, so yeah, we can see that the new tests have been added to this file instead. So they should have just, well, actually no. Um, so when they, so as you can see, these only include changes where the changes were um, added. Well, like it only changed the existing tests, but we don't see any new test cases in here. So the I guess um, this is just me assuming what happened during the rebase. So I think Git correctly handles like it can follow the rename of the test file, and hence we see these changes to the existing tests. But in cases where the original PR added some new lines for the new tests, um, Git will ask you like, do you want to keep this file because in Django's main it's been removed, and then this person who made the new PR just accepted the whole test module instead of picking just the new tests and move them over to the new file. So that's what they should have done. Um, but yeah, instead they just accepted the whole test file, and this results in like the old tests that are now in the new file is re-added in this old requests test.py file. And us as reviewers can't easily see like which tests are new. So yeah, I'm not sure how to word that into like a review comment, but um, yeah. So make sure that the requests tests.py file is removed, but the added test should be incorporated to the um, new file. Yeah. So I guess make sure to incorporate the new tests into the new yeah the new tests into yes that file instead. Um, I guess we need to point out that yes, exactly. Yeah, I think that works.
Okay. I have another one, documentation and version change
Oh, that's good.
I just picked that up from one of the comments from a previous one of
Right.
the comments.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So does the original PR? Sorry, I forgot. I think you have a list of new tests that were added. Yeah, so I think we can just look at those instead of like the whole thing, because some of the other tests are just tests that have been there forever and they are unrelated to the PR. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So get host with use exported port and HTTP host. Okay, so this is the case where you have to separate the lines.
Mm-hmm.
Exported port header.
Mm.
Let's take a look. If I'm understanding this correctly, it should, well, it should be using this value if it's present, and then this value.
I'm not sure if that comment is correct in the test. Like it says should not use the X forwarded host, but it does use it.
Is it saying the HTTP exported variable
Oh,
versus
I
the,
guess yeah. I think the comment should have said should not use the X forwarded host header because the setting that's set to false is the host one, but the port one is set to true. So it should combine. So it should use the host from HTTP host, but the port from X forwarded port. I think so. The test itself is correct. Like the assertions are correct, but the comment is not. I think.
okay. Should I, let's see,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
go ahead and
It's up
just
to
put,
you.
okay.
I think we can just use the suggestion feature
All right,
on GitHub. Yeah. So I think that should be host. Um, I think
variable,
um,
it's,
well, I mean, we could probably just change the to keep the original comment, but change the word port to host because yeah, we yeah. So instead of port, yeah, it should say host. Yeah.
I'm kind of
Oh, yeah. So that variable is like, so Django transforms the header into the um, HTTP underscore thing in the request meta. It's up to you, I guess, if whether you want to word the comment in terms of Django request meta attributes or in terms of the header names.
Oh, okay. I see. I'll leave it.
Yeah, yeah. I just thought just to avoid making. I mean, because the original PR already used the terms in terms of the header names, so just to um, reduce the amount of changes, I guess.
Okay. So there's that one. And then I guess there's this one.
Um, Sorry, what's the test just before this? I just want to make sure. Just okay. Should use. Do we need to be concerned about this? Did
Mm,
anything change in this?
I
Okay,
think
yeah. It's,
it was just the server names.
okay. All right.
So this is the opposite of the other one.
Yeah, I guess you can say that.
Yeah, the note is not included now. Should use the forward port.
I guess it looks good.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll go to the next one. So this is with IPv6. So they're using the IPv6 address
Mm-hmm.
and they're just making sure that it can parse correctly. Okay. Oh, so they're checking that this will convert into a number.
Um, Not really.
Or,
It's in the X forward. Yeah, that one.
oh, I see. Okay. All right. I think that's similar to the other one. It's
Yeah,
just the IP
yeah. It's
addresses.
yeah, exactly. I think
Okay.
so.
And then this one, get port with X forwarded host and port. So we're expecting it to use these two. All right, so these two settings are set to true here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's checking that it's using that and this.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a case that Felix was talking about?
Not yet. I think that will be. It might be the next one. Um, Oh, that's the one after this. Yes. Yeah, that's
Okay, so this one has the host with the port, and then it defines the port again a second time.
yes. Exactly.
And I forget which one it should take.
It
Which
should
one?
raise an error.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And so it raises the error.
Yeah, I think we might be able to add a review comment saying that I think usually Django uses assert raises message to also assert the error message, so not just the error type.
Should I go ahead and add that, or just someone else wants to add it? Raffaella, do you want to add that?
So I don't understand. They
So
are going to, yeah, he's going to raise an error, and
yes,
it's not what we're expecting. I think the yeah
it's just Django usually if it's an error message that is raised by us, as in by Django, and not like say Python, um,
mm,
we tend to use assert raises message instead of assert raises, so that we also ensure that the error message is a certain string that we added in the implementation. So I guess what we can do here is we check the implementation code where the error is raised. Um, yeah, so something like that.
And then I haven't looked into what that message would be.
Yeah, we'll need to look into it.
I was just wondering, like, if someone else wants to add a comment.
Yeah, sure. I can add that. Yeah, maybe add that to the notes, and then I'll add that at the end of the
All right.
review.
Use cert raises message instead of cert raises in this test. All right. And so we've gone to Mhm.
Lilian, if you want, if because I'm in the same line, I can suggest the or do you want to make a message, a long message, or is maybe I can use a suggestion.
You can make it.
Okay.
There was one comment that I saw about this function here, parse host. It was asking to validate the value that was being parsed to make sure that it's a number. Did any of you see this one?
No, I haven't.
I guess
Okay,
it
I
was
guess it makes sense. So I think Florian said that they would push the changes with those. Um, okay.
I
I
don't
guess.
think he ended up pushing it
Yeah.
because it never came in and I don't see it here. So I was just wondering if maybe we could resurface that and ask them
Yeah.
if they should validate the value that's being split.
Yeah, I think it's worth a comment. Just asking whether it's something we need to consider, just to make sure it doesn't get lost in between the transition.
Okay. All right. What else should we check? Should we go to how do you feel about the review so far?
I think it's going good. I probably look at the code from top to bottom, just in case. Okay, so just changing some imports. That still looks good to me so far. That I'm not sure about that. Why is there an max allowed files there? I don't think we're dealing with files, so I'm not sure why that's there.
Interesting. Let's see if they had it in here. It wasn't in here. And I wonder if it's in main. Main. Okay, let me just check if it's their request. .py. Okay, I have, yeah, they don't have in main either. Is it being used anywhere?
That's a good question.
Okay, it's down here.
Hmm. I I don't know why that's there.
Hmm.
Maybe they were working on an unrelated ticket. Let me see if I can find a ticket about maximum files.
Sage, how are you going to find out if a ticket has this this constant?
Um, it might not be that constant, so I'm just using Google to find, like with keywords, for example, Django maximum files upload, and I make sure to only include results from code.djangoproject.com. I'm not sure if I'm able to find it though. Um, yeah, I cannot find that specifically. There is a somewhat related ticket, but it's already fixed from 5 years ago, so probably not that. 9 years ago, actually. But yeah, I don't think that's related to what we're doing at all. So yeah, I guess we could just ask, is that related to this PR? Related to the ticket, I guess. Yep.
That's a good catch. And okay, so another thing I noticed is that the previous one used lazy regular compile, and then this one doesn't. Wasn't sure.
I guess you could check what the main branch is doing, and yeah, if it has lazy compile, then we should keep that. Yeah.
Okay. Why was this removed?
I think I mean, I think the answer is it was lost during the rebase. So
Oh, okay. It's
yeah.
interesting though because it wasn't.
Oh, that's a good
It was
point.
in here, but it probably was lost at some point.
Yeah. What about the very first PR? Huh. Okay, yeah. Then I think it's a good question to ask, like, why is that removed? So maybe it wasn't a rebase issue.
Okay. Let's see. And then they added a name tuple. And I know Adam Johnson put in a comment about named tuples. I wasn't sure. He says named tuples are weird. He suggested using something else.
Oh, do you mean the first PR?
Yeah, so this
It's the second PR.
Oh,
this
the second.
plugins. And then also it's like from 5 years ago, so I don't know if it still applies.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it. I guess. Yeah, we can just leave a comment saying, do we should we change this to something else? Per comment from Adam, should we consider? I guess consider.
Okay. I think they got rid of this function.
Hmm.
Oh, mm, there's an idea mm, to keep get row host, but the Apollo said that he preferred to have a function to have the same behavior. In the previous PR was a comment. I think yeah, we're there. Isn't this? Yeah.
Okay, so it's pretty much just rewriting this function.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any test cases that we have not considered?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Um,
So if we look at this logic again, and then we look at the tests. Maybe we can get back to that after the rebase.
yeah, I think that
Then it'll
would
be
be
easier to follow. Is there anything you see in here?
So I guess at first, yeah, it checks whether. So I guess the X forwarded host header is only considered if the use X forwarded host setting is true, and then it does that, and it has a variable that tracks whether the forwarded host contains a port or not, which I think is sensible. And yeah, if use X forwarded host setting is not set to true, it's just going to look in the HTTP host meta, which sounds reasonable. And otherwise, yeah, if it cannot find the HTTP host, it does the logic ice, which I assume might be in the original implementation, in row host maybe, the one that was deleted. Yeah, so I guess that's it. I wonder if so if you click on the cogwheel icon button at the top of the PR, yes, and then click hide white space. I wonder if this gives us a better view of the. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I guess. some of the lines are not changed. Okay. Yeah, so the first if use forwarded host and um, yeah, so that bit is new, and then the if HTTP host in, well, actually that's still the same as the deleted one, but instead of using settings dot directly, we use a variable for use forwarded host and port. So yeah, I guess the change here is that we use the parse host header function instead of just reading the HTTP host, which makes sense. I guess that's where it tries to parse the port from the host. And that, um, yeah, and then it adds the bit where it detects that you're using use X forwarded port setting, but and then it also finds the um, wait, yeah. So the use X forwarded port setting is true, and then there's the X forwarded port header, but the X forwarded host also contains the port, then that's improperly configured, and that's the error message that we want to test. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I guess it caches the result in the parsed host object attributes so that, um, yeah, if you already called the method before, it's just going to return the result instead of recalculating the whole thing again. I think it's mostly the same, but because of the added indentation, um, or I guess because we now parse the host thing um, to ensure that the port is separated if it includes one. Um, yeah, now we make use of the parsed host object thing, but I think the rest of the logic is the same. I think so.
Where is this validate coming from?
Um,
Just a nitpick.
I
I
think
feel like it's
maybe the method now accepts. Oh, I think if we look at the method of this new method, does it have a new parameter?
oh, okay. I must have missed it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Is I don't know, maybe this is nitpicking, but validate is like a verb. Should it be more is valid or something, or
I think it's because whether uh, the parameter dictates whether this method should also validate the host. Uh, by validate, I think it's going to check against the allowed host. Um,
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it will call the validate host function only if validate is true. So that's why it's called validate.
So there's a new get host method, and it uses that parse host header, and then it returns the combined. So that was from the tuple.
Right. I think the get host method is not new, but yeah, because Git doesn't really understand what happens. Um, yeah, so there is it at the bottom. So if you scroll down a bit, there it is. Um, they removed lines, a few lines above this one. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah. It's just the implementation is now um, mostly moved to the get parsed host header thing um, because now get port also relies into checking whether the port exists in the host. So that's why they share um, a base implementation.
Raw URI.
That might be a new method. Yeah, that's
We
the
touched on
suspicious thing.
and we've touched on that. Split domain port. And so
I'm not entirely sure why this has changed.
let's see what's in.
Oh, mm. Yeah. Let's see what it says in the original PR. Maybe no comment.
Do we have anything to say about this one?
I'm trying to think. Port. I guess. Um, I don't really have anything to say, but maybe there. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what's changed here. Maybe there is additional handling if the port is not in the like it has the port equals port or empty string, which is not in the original implementation. So I guess that's probably, although the original code also has, so it does match.groups default empty string. So I guess the different thing is it originally uses full match, and now it just uses re.match, which I'm not sure what the difference is, but I guess that's one of the main changes. But yeah, I don't know what to add there. I think we can leave it as is.
Okay. Then
Oh, that's nice. So yeah, that debug thing, I guess they moved the implementation of that to the HTTP request object itself. Yeah. Why I said it's nice is that because I think there have been cases where I really need that implementation where it includes the scheme and the host, basically like the absolute URL. And previously, it's only available in this debug thing, but they've moved it to the HTTP request.
okay,
So
they refactored it.
yeah, it's just refactoring.
And then these are the tests, which we've gone through. Let's see. This is mainly adding in the headers to make it work. I think making sure that it's valid.
Hmm. All right.
And this is hard to look at again.
Yeah.
Should we just go to the next one?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and then this is just adjusting it to make sure it will work.
Yeah, I guess that was um, because it now validates against the um, allowed host. Mm,
And is this trying to make sure it gets a new instance
yeah, I think so.
request? Otherwise it has like stale data carried over.
Yeah, it has the cached parsed object thing.
Okay, we're at the end.
Nice. Yay.
All right, so we have some comments. Do you two want to go through them and add them to the PR?
Yeah, shall we split them?
Yeah. Just call out and
Um, so, Rafi, did you say that you were going to add the assert racist message thing?
Okay, I think I already did.
Okay,
Let's
yeah, maybe we
see.
should.
Let's see. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, feel free to pick ones that you want to comment, and I'll take the whatever is left.
okay. Yeah, Rafi, just call out which one you want to claim.
okay. I'm going to have the max allowed files because it was really interesting to understand why I think it's not made on purpose.
Okay.
Or maybe if it's on purpose, we don't understand why. It could be interesting to understand.
I'll take the ones with the links so it's easy to put them in.
Okay.
And then we have this one, and this one. So Sage, do you want to take those?
Yeah, sure.
I can copy and paste this into our Discord.
That would be nice. Yes, please.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And we're gonna count down, right?
Yeah, but let me write the comment first because I haven't. Okay, 1 second. Um, okay. Um, I've done one comment. I have two more, I think. 1 second. Okay. Lazy compile. And documentation. Okay. Exported host and export port. Uh, 1 second. Sorry, it's taking me a while to write the comments.
Take your time.
Next. Okay. Maybe a bonus comment about the refactoring. It should probably be a separate commit. I know this change was from the previous PR, but before we merge this should probably be separate commit. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. I guess, well, let me see. I need to scroll up. All right. Oh, I forgot.
We
I had to
count?
comment.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay, I think that's
Maybe we should say thanks for working on it. Yes.
thank you for bringing up. Okay. Are you ready,
Yep.
Raffaella?
Yes. Yes.
1,
1,
2,
2,
3. Screen.
Ah.
Very cool.
All right, nice.
I think I don't see yours yet. I don't see yours, Raffaella.
You can see mine.
Oh, I can't see yours either.
I can see yours.
Have you submitted
No.
the review?
What happened?
Is it still
There
like
is-
pending, maybe?
Oh yes, it's pending. It's in pending. Oh, yeah. Why is it in pending?
So if it's in pending, you need to click the green button at the top right in the files change. Yes, that button.
Okay. Oh, here we are. I have to submit review at your comment.
Okay, we see you now.
Yay.
No, thank you.
Very cool. All right. Well, I think that's it. We'll wrap up, and we did it. We reviewed the PR.
Yay.
Thank you everyone for watching. So glad that people came. Yeah, so hopefully we can do another one maybe sometime soon.
Yeah, this was fun. Thanks for organizing this.
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool to be able to work with other people and learn instead of like trying to figure it out on my own.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, sounds good.